morning. Thanks for coming. We're meeting after long, maybe after 6-7 months. Speaker is on, no? 9 months? Nuja? 9 months, yeah. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure to see you all here. I would like to also start with thanking the Karnataka State Government, Chief Minister, DCM, Home Minister, Commissioner, PWD, BWSSB, everybody in the Home Ministry, to thank them to make this happen. It has been a long journey for us post June 4th. Thanks to KSCA and everybody to make this happen in a war footing. So I want to just start by saying we have an Karnataka High Court and we have an SOP from Karnataka High Court which we have to follow, which is the KSCA along with RCB and DNA from guidance from Karnataka State Police. And also from BCCI's point of view, there's a couple of changes in the agreement, the tripartite agreement between KSCA, RCB and BCCI. Example, there is, for example, the protocol, the emergency planning protocol is to be implemented by the state association. Then state association has to indemnify BCCI and the franchise for against any losses due to breach as per the stadium agreement, and also anything in the reps and warranties. SOP has to be strictly followed by franchise and state association. There's a new guidelines on victory parade, which we can socialize, Divya can socialize with you later. There's guidelines to be there. All permissions, the responsibility of state association, which the state association has taken over to get all the permissions. And even including the barricading inside the outside the stadium is state association's responsibility here. So there are a couple of responsibilities which has come in from a state association's point of view. So initially state association was looked at like a venue provider, but they are now the lead organizers too along with us. So that's the change. From our side, what we have also done is certain things like which is critical for crowd management. We have implemented that, and you must be aware of that. We are implementing a complete AI-led CCTV solution, where we are putting in around 350 CCTVs in and around Chinnaswamy Stadium, that is inside, in the concourse and outside also. So 350 plus maybe 120 of cameras of KSCA, which will be around 400-500 cameras there. And it will be powered by a AI tool called Jarvis. What it can do is it can give alerts real time. For example, if there's a queue, and the queue is going to stand M1, and M1 can take 500 people, and the queue has 100 people already. It can throw alerts to everybody in and around, including police, including KSCA, including the licensing authorities, saying that the queue is getting jammed up there. Apart from that, it can even give counts. For example, each stadium, each person, there is a count there. The stand has 500 people. Do we have 500 people or not? So it can do multiple things as part of that. The second part is in the safety and security is we have based on the advice from police, we have completely reconfigured the entry and exit. And can you just put that slide, please? The slide is not working. Yeah. So all the entries from Cubbon Road and Link Road and MG Road, nothing on Queens Road. So that is where we are looking at. And for the first time, we are predominantly going M-ticket. We're completely going M-ticket. And and ticket is going on sale today. Today by 4 p.m. we will be live on that. And sorry to the fans, the delay was mainly due to the integration of the Metro QR code. The reason is the Metro QR code is completely different from the QR code what we have. So incorporating that took time. And every ticket holder will get a free Metro ride. So what we request all the fans are like, there is enough Metro, entry and exit within Chinnaswamy Stadium. Please use Metro. And there is enough parking also within the metro stations across Bangalore. Apart from that, who are booking tickets can also book their parking. When they open the ticket, they can book the parking at Garuda Mall or Freedom Park, and from there they'll be pick up and drop. At no point of time, police will allow anybody to bring the car near to the stadium where drop off can happen. They need to go to the respective parking space, park the car and walk, or take the pickup from there. And this Metro free ticket will be for all the games, irrespective of who ticket holders we can avail this service. Entry and exit, no stopover. Yeah, and all the gates will open 4 hours before the match, so that people can come inside much early and sit much early. There'll be enough baggage scanners, frisking booth, and the turnstile. Apart from we investing into the CCTV, we have invested also into the turnstile. So net we would have invested around 7 crore into an holistic crowd management pattern. We are putting a complete new turnstile across Chinnaswamy Stadium, and this CCTV camera also will help us. And this CCTV camera will have multiple command center, 2 within the stadium, and 1 will be in the commissioner's office. So commissioner office will also have a live feed going in from here, saying what is happening in the stadium, outside the stadium. Because we were concentrating predominantly on getting the stadium right, the entry gates right, increase in the size of the entry gate, there will be no unbox event this year at Chinnaswamy Stadium. We may have some event in Raipur when we go there, but in Chinnaswamy Stadium we won't have any unbox. And of the 7 home games, we will have 2 home games in Raipur, and that was planned much in advance, because when there was ambiguity in Karnataka of having our matches in Bangalore, I had to have a contingency plan of Plan A and Plan B, Plan C. So Raipur was tied much in advance, and the state government of Raipur was very, very open to give us multiple SOPs. So they have offered to give us a state GST rebate for the 2 games in Raipur. In memory of the 11 fans who we lost on June 4th, the players will be wearing jersey number 11 for the practice on the game day, on the practice time before the match. So all the players will have jersey number 11 on the back, not for the game, but for the practice. Apart from that, they'll be also wearing a black armband on that day. We are also looking at having 11 permanent seats empty in Chinnaswamy Stadium forever. This is for the 11 fans who will be with us forever. That's it from me on a quick update on what we are doing this year. I'll hand over to Mo on cricket.
Thanks, Rajesh. Hi, everyone. Good to see you all. Obviously a busy time for us preparing the team, but an exciting time. We're obviously looking forward to getting into our first game and starting our campaign. It is great to be back in Bangalore. Our management team and our players were desperate to come back to Bangalore and to play, so it's great that that's been able to be sorted. And obviously Rajesh has provided a really good update there on a lot of the work that has taken place to make that happen. And obviously, the really important recognition that we want to play on, the sad loss of lives that we had last year. I'm happy to take questions on any of the cricket-related topics that you guys might have, but there is one area that I wanted to provide an update in particular, and that's regarding Yash Dayal. So just to confirm that Yash will not be joining up with the squad. As you know, he is going through a personal situation currently, and just to clarify, we've been very supportive of Yash to date, and that's reflected in the fact that we retained him when we had the opportunity to either retain or release players. We wanted to retain him, and he remains under contract and will continue, in the short term and the foreseeable to remain under contract. We are communicating with him regularly. I spoke to him earlier today as well. But it has been decided that it is not in his best interests or the franchise best interests for him to join up with us at this point. We won't be making any other further comments on that at this stage, so that's probably all I've got to say on his situation, that he won't be joining up with us, but he obviously retains our support and he remains under contract, and we'll continue to speak to him as he goes through his personal situation. I'm not going to share any other updates live now, but I'm happy to take questions on any of the other cricket content that people might have.
Okay. Could you give us an update on Josh Hazelwood? And also you spoke about Dayal not being there for the entire season, and you're not going to get any replacement player. So in that part, how big a blow would that be to the franchise?
Yeah, so if I deal with the first bit on Josh to begin with. So, as most people would know, Josh has missed quite a bit of cricket recently with injuries. So he's currently working through a return to play programme. He's doing that in Australia currently. We are liaising very closely with both Josh and Cricket Australia, and our medical teams are collaborating very strongly on a day-to-day basis on his programme. We'll continue to communicate with them, and as soon as he gets to a point where Cricket Australia are happy, he'll come over, and we hope to have him with us very soon. Yeah, so the Yash Dayal situation has been tricky because obviously it's been going on for some time now, and it's difficult to predict what will happen. We went into our auction planning for a worst-case scenario in that he may not be available for us. And so we have recruited accordingly. We have some excellent domestic fast bowlers in our squad. Rasik, who many of you will know, Abhinandan, who we had with us last year, and then we also signed Mangesh in this auction. So domestically, we have 3 excellent potential options there that could replace him. So it's obviously a blow losing a player like Yash. That's obvious. He's been an important part for us for the last couple of years. But we're very confident in the options we've got in the squad, and we'll select a team accordingly.
There was a bit of indecision regarding your venue, Raipur and Bangalore, shifting between the venues in the initial part of the IPL season. So in that terms, was it difficult for you to strategize for ahead of the IPL?
Not hugely. It was probably a bit of a distraction, if I'm honest with you, because you want to have clarity. I tend to prefer to try and assemble teams that can adapt to any surfaces and any conditions. One of the beauties of playing in the IPL is different grounds require different tactics, maybe sometimes different combinations. You're already trying to adapt between red soil surfaces, black soil surfaces, mixed soil. So you're always trying to adapt anyway. So, I don't think it would have affected our decision-making too strongly. Ideally, you want these things clarified as early as possible, but it's not been much of a distraction, really.
Rajesh, the families who lost their people, the fans who died, the 11 members, their families were alleging that there could be RCB management may call their families and meet, but after that there was no clarification.
Sorry?
Their families were expecting that RCB management may call and meet those family members, but there was no update from your side. Do you have any plans to bring, as you are going to the good plan that you are reserving 7 seats, 11 seats in memory of them?
No, I have not heard from them this, what you're asking us. I have not heard or got any information. But whatever we had to do, we had reached out much earlier, we had to do that. And this we need to this thing in the next couple of days' time, how will we invite them?
One of the biggest buys during the auction was Venkatesh Iyer. Now, he had a lot of success as an opener. Now, obviously, the opening is kind of jam-packed with the RCB currently. So where do you intend to play Venkatesh, and what sort of a role is the franchise looking for him?
Yeah, well, first thing to say is we haven't selected a team for our first game yet, so we haven't made any decisions on selection. It's still a few days to go. Ultimately, our main objective at the auction is to strengthen the squad. So we want competition for places. Adding a player of Venky's quality, experience and calibre is a no-brainer. You strengthen the squad. You worry about selection as you get towards the first game. So, look, we haven't made any decisions just yet, but the fact that we were able to attract a player like him, get him to the franchise, and have him as an option was our priority at this stage. We want competition for places. We're very ambitious about what we want to achieve. 12 players, you do that by having a really strong squad. So that's, as far as we're concerned right now, where we're at. And then over the next few days, we'll clarify our decisions on selection.
Not so much from an RCB perspective alone, but about 10 players have either pulled out or they're joining their franchises late, and all of them happen to be fast bowlers. So is that like an overall concern that workload management is a genuine issue?
I guess it's probably a symptom of the congested cricket schedule, isn't it? Any of us who follow cricket know how challenging that is on a domestic level, but also an international level. So it's not ideal, it's not ideal for any of the teams that are losing players at this late stage because it impacts your planning. So, I sympathise and empathise with any of the teams going through that at the minute because it's not easy. I think from our perspective, we just try and control the controllables. You can only do so much. We try and communicate really closely with the international governing bodies. Our medical team are excellent. They're always communicating with players and other governing body medical teams. Myself and Andy have pretty good relationships with most governing bodies, head coaches or directors. So you just try and keep those lines of communication open so that there's trust. Josh Hazelwood's a really good example. I think if we didn't have the relationships that we had with Cricket Australia last year, he might not have even come back to resume when he did. So I've always had the mindset that you just try and control the controllables as much as you can, try and have really good relationships and open dialogue. But yeah, it is difficult, and I'm sure it's challenging for those teams that have lost players. I don't have a solution in mind because it's a congested schedule that everyone's trying to cope with.
Is that sort of...
Do you have any key bowling options?
In what way?
When the key bowlers are not available for the team, do you have any options for that? Any available bowlers?
Yeah, we've got loads, full squad of bowlers.
For us?
Well, yeah, I'm sure you've seen our squad. I don't understand the question.
There are many questions arising as far as bowlers are concerned. Now the teams are saying, many fans are also saying that the bowlers, as far as bowlers are concerned, RCB is very weak. So are you looking after any other options?
Well, I disagree with the statement. We were probably the lead bowling attack in the competition last year, and no one's been ruled out other than maybe Yash. So I'm not concerned. We've got a very good squad of bowlers. We hope to have everyone to pick from. I've obviously made the statement about Yash earlier, but we've recruited. We're not concerned. We're very confident.
Mo, just going back to that, is it paradoxical that there's so much science involved and people are looked after very well and still there is so many injury concerns, or is it just the nature of the beast that there is so much cricket around?
Yeah, good question, and it's a bigger question that cricket has to grapple with. Even if I think about my previous role working with England, many hours, many days and many months you spend trying to understand fast bowling and the demands. It probably shows you that either we don't understand that area well enough still as a game, or it might simply be that the workloads that players are being exposed to are unmanageable right now. And when I say that, there'll be a lot of former players saying we used to bowl more in our day. I get that. When I talk about workloads, it's important to know that any extreme is not wise. You can be under-bowled just as much as you can be over-bowled. So understanding that is quite tricky. Josh Hazelwood's a really good example that he likes to bowl quite a lot and keep bowling. So he wants to get to a place where he's fit and then maintain bowling. Every bowler's a little bit different. There might be another person that needs lots of breaks. So you've got to have quite an individualised approach. We probably still haven't exhausted all of our knowledge and understanding. I think that's probably true. And certainly when players switch between formats, moving from test match volumes and intensities to T20 volume and intensity, those transitions are quite tricky to manage, and vice versa when you're moving from T20 to test match. So, look, there's a lot of research, a lot of countries are looking into this quite a lot. It's tricky to get right. It doesn't seem to be an exact science, and we don't seem to understand it fully yet. For us, we don't get a long prep time. If we've got our first game on the 28th, at most we get 10 days of lead-in. So, for us, we're relying quite heavily on either state associations for our domestic players or international governing bodies for our international players, and communicating really well with them and trying to manage them remotely. If you could have 3 weeks or 4 weeks to prepare your bowlers and get them in, you can probably manage that preparation a little bit more. But it's tricky when players are moving from environment to environment. So, yeah, it's a complex area.
Hi, this is a question for both of you. There's been, plenty of talk about the potential sale of the franchisee. Do you have any clarity about who the new owners are going to be, and has it impacted anything to do with how you have gone about things, and how has it been, the whole process generally? Has it been a distraction?
Can I take that? Strategy review process is on. That is not for this forum. The corporate communication team from DRG can answer that question.
You're defending champions, and obviously last year the unfortunate incidents may have not given you the feeling of soaking in that winning feeling. As you guys have regrouped now, has it given you a little more time to reflect on what you guys achieved last year, and what have you guys spoken about the possibility of going into a new season as defending champions, and how's the vibe in the group like?
Yeah, I think going back to the question on fast bowling, with the schedule being as tight as it is, I don't think you ever get to celebrate for too long now anyway. You finish a competition, whether it's a World Cup or a series, and the next day or a couple of days after, people travel. So, yeah, I'm not sure in this day and age you get to do too much celebrating anyway. But you're right, it was a bit of an abrupt end last year for obvious reasons. It's been great to get everybody together again and just feel that connection between people and relive some of maybe the experiences from last year. On a personal level, I haven't spent that much time back in Bangalore in the last year either, so I've really enjoyed coming back here, and it's really nice, mixing with the fans and the people that want us to do well. In my previous couple of seasons, the question was, when are we going to win it? At least it's a different question I get from the fans now. Are we going to win it again is the question. But that's nice. It's nice to feel that excitement. But in terms of the players and the focus, we want to feel the confidence of what we achieved last year, but we're looking forwards. We're not looking backwards now. This is a new campaign. It's a new season. All the other teams would have improved what they've done. They've all and we have to respect our opposition. We can't take anything for granted. So, at this stage of your preparation, you narrow down and you focus on the game in front of you. We play SRH in the first game. We have to give them the respect they deserve. And then we have to also be really clear on what we're good at and our strengths. That is our focus. So we're not spending too much time dwelling on what we achieved last year, even though we're proud of it.
And as a franchise, we have 3 trophies now. Last year we won even WPL.
Sir, can you just go ahead and come back? What is the pricing of tickets this season?
Oh, I can share that with you. I'm not carrying that stand-wise. But as you know, there's a 20% impact of GST also coming in, which is the GST on tickets have gone up. So I can just share that. Divya, you can just share the ticket price.
Rajesh, something related to the tickets only.
Very good initiative by people on reserving 11 seats for all those people who died in this tragedy. The question is, why the RCB has not made any kind of public statement or a press conference after the incident, and 2, whether there was any internal inquiry on the lapses from the RCC or event management.
It's sub judice. We all know what's happening, so I don't want to comment on that.
So
It's in High Court.
There was no public statement or press conference.
It's sub judice. It's in the court. It's in sub judice.
No, you can answer that.
No, I'm saying it's sub judice. No, it correct. No, it.
We are not asking. He is not asking about the.
I'm saying the point is why we didn't. No, I'm saying why we didn't have any press conferences because it's sub judice. The next day, the suo moto case was filed. The very next day.
So, whether there was any kind of internal inquiry that has been ordered
No.
against your own management or event management?
No, there was no. I mean, from our point of view.
Of your event management organization.
No, it is not. That's the reason I'm saying it's sub judice, because there is CID, there is Kuna Commission, there is district magistrate working in, and there is suo moto from four. I mean, there are 4 agencies working in. 4 agencies, and we have been very cooperative with all the agencies, answering all the questions required. Now it is in the High Court where they need to, and everybody knows the charge sheet need to be filed, and we'll see what is there in the charge sheet. I don't know what's there in the charge sheet as of now.
Sydney, you can go ahead.
Rajesh, RCB is one of the most popular franchisees and demand for tickets is always high. You just said that sales is going live at 4 p.m. But in the aftermath of what happened, how do you see the demand for the tickets this season?
And you know, and Chinnaswamy Stadium, if we put 1 lakh capacity, it will get sold out in no time. So I don't think anything of that we need to worry.
Completely empty ticket, you mean to say?
Sorry?
Mobile ticket.
Yeah, around 80% will be empty ticket. It will be empty ticket. 80 to 90% will be empty ticket.
It will be managed by the us franchisee itself, right?
Yeah, it will be on our website, through our website. The sale will be through our website.
My question is in Yash Dayal's absence, how do you look at Mangesh Yadav as a left-arm option?
Well, he's a good option, and that's why we recruited him. As I mentioned earlier, if we were thinking of domestic replacements, if that's what we were looking to do, then I mentioned Rasik, Abhinandan, and Mangesh as 3 very good options. They've both have, all 3 of those have had excellent prep camps so far. So we've kept all our options open. I enjoyed scouting Mangesh in the off-season prior to the auction. He looks like a real prospect. He bowls aggressively, he attacks the stumps, he swings the ball. So we're excited about him like we are the other 2.
How do you deal with, obviously just the first game, but how do you deal with players who haven't been in good form coming in, as again someone who's been in outstanding form? Someone like Phil Salt had a great season last year, but his recent form has been a little patchy, whereas Jacob Bethel, on the other hand, had a fantastic World Cup. So, like, as a management group, how do you deal with that, the concerns leading into the campaign?
Yeah, well, those aren't concerns for me. We've got a high-quality squad, and as we saw last year, our strongest team that we put out most of the time is full of predominantly guys who are playing or have played international cricket. So these guys are seasoned professionals. They know what they're doing. Someone like Phil Salt is still ranked in one of the top, I've not looked recently, but top 2 or 3 T20 batters in the world. So there's enough depth of confidence there. He also really enjoys being with RCB. He enjoys the franchise. He enjoys his partnership with Virat. He works very well with the likes of Andy and DK. So they're doing some really good work right now, and I'm pretty sure we'll see at the start of the season Phil Salt doing his thing. I'm looking forward to watching him and Virat walk out to bat like they do. A couple of gladiators walking out, which is always exciting, and they'll be trying to put the opposition under pressure. We've got a lot of confidence in our team, in particular with your question, huge amount of confidence in Phil Salt, and I'm sure he'll go out there and do his thing.
Despite the massive support in Bangalore, Chinnaswamy has not really been an RCB fortress, unlike some of the grounds for some of the other franchises. Against that backdrop, how do you look at the move to Raipur?
Well, a bit like Rajesh said, it was nice and helpful that the guys in Raipur were so accommodating of us and keen to have us. So we're very appreciative of that. I don't know those conditions that well. Me personally, I've never been to Raipur. We've got obviously coaches and players that have been there and they'll understand the conditions quite well. But I can't comment on what that looks and feels like. I'm really excited about playing in Bangalore. I like being here. It's our home. We love the ground. We love the atmosphere. It is true to say that at the start of last season, we probably didn't play well enough at our home venue, and that was reflected in 3 early defeats. But then actually, one of the really great things about our team last year was we were quick learners, we were quick to adapt, and we adapted to conditions. And actually, beyond those first 3 games, we worked out our formula for how we wanted to play at home, and we had a bit of success. And that was despite losing a couple of tosses. We won games having lost tosses at home, which initially we found quite tricky. So the challenge for us this year will be to start as we sort of finished last year. We want to start strongly in the first game, and a lot of our energy now in our conditions and understand how we want to play so we can hit the ground running. I can't really comment on Raipur. I don't have too much of an understanding of it at the minute, but the flip side is we had an excellent away record last year, so we'll treat that in many ways as 2 different away venues and try and be as successful as we can there.
We'll take last few questions.
So we heard as per SOP, there is a ticket curtail of capacity around 7,000 has been curtailed.
No, full capacity.
Full capacity.
We are going with full capacity.
Any other questions?
No, it's been a year, but in sense for 17 season, RCB was chasing that elusive glory. And obviously, in the immediate aftermath, we couldn't obviously meet you all and get a perspective. So, how did the entire team feel at having broken that, that jinx and finally getting the title? And especially even for someone like Virat Kohli, that was one thing that he was chasing all his life. And then we saw the emotions coming out of him. Can you just give us?
Yeah, well, firstly, I'm not sure I would describe it as a jinx. Look, franchise cricket is so transient and players come and go, and whilst our fans and the franchise might have been chasing that elusive trophy for 17 years, that isn't the view of the world of everybody involved. For example, if I take myself, it was only my second season with RCB, so whilst I'm mindful of the many years that we hadn't won the trophy, I'm not personally carrying that baggage. It's my second year, so I've got a lot of fresh energy and a lot of optimism. That is true for much of the squad. Virat's quite a unique case in point. Obviously, he's done the whole journey and he's ridden the highs and the lows of many years. So for him personally, obviously, it was quite an emotional outpouring at the end of that game, and that was quite beautiful to see, actually. And it was great that we could share that moment with the likes of AB de Villiers and Chris Gale, other guys who have been big iconic players for the franchise. So look, your question's a good one, and it's probably the obvious one. But I would just say that not everybody would have experienced it that same way. For some people, it was their first season, so they don't feel any baggage of that previous era. You're just mindful of it. It is nice to have got that first trophy because it means we can look forward and not have to answer those sorts of questions for too much longer. Hopefully, we can look forward and focus on what's in front of us. But again, as I said earlier, this is a new campaign. It's a new season. A bit like last season, we weren't carrying the baggage of 17 years. This year, we're not carrying the ego of 1 year of success either. We have to start with humility. We have to focus on our game and our basics and what we want to do well. We always want to put on a show for our fans, that's for sure. RCB's always done that, on and off the field. We want to put on a show for our fans. We want to play the way we want to play, and that's our focus right now. So, as I said earlier, we respect the opposition, try and get used to home conditions again, because there's not been much cricket played here and we haven't played here for a little while. But we're focusing on ourselves and how we want to play our cricket, and we want to start well.
With that, I'd like to bring the press conference to an end. Thank you all for coming out. Thank you, Rajesh. Thank you,
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks.